Epic Games just fired 1,000 employees. So earlier today, a couple of articles, a couple of announcements, whatever you want to say, came out talking about a new series of layoffs that just happened. It was so sudden that a lot of employees woke up this morning finding out that they were actually no longer employed by Epic. The reason for this, according to Tim Sweeney, is a bit complex. Part of it has to do with Fortnite generating less engagement and less revenue than it used to. Part of it has to do with the current economic climate. And part of it has to do with certain industry trends in gaming, like people just spending less in general on video games, as well as consoles. Like people aren't just not buying consoles as much as they used to. All these factors played a huge role when it came to making the decision of how many employees had to be laid off. When it comes to the employees that were laid off, especially people that I had the pleasure of getting to know or talk to over the last couple of years at Epic, my heart and my prayers go out to all of you guys. I wish the best for you and your families sincerely. And I pray that there's something better for you guys moving forward. But layoffs aren't the only bad news that we got today. In a tweet by Fortnite status, it looks like Rocket Racing, Ballistic, and Festival Battle Stage are going offline permanently. These were hands down the weakest metaverse modes that Epic made in the last couple of years. And that's simply because they just didn't get enough support. Honestly, the more that I'm looking at this, the more that I'm starting to feel like Epic Games really spread themselves too thin when it came to a lot of these modes. The other thing too, when it comes to some of the metaverse modes being terminated, it can be looked at as a net positive. Taking away 3 modes, which honestly haven't really been that exciting for over a year or seen any support from Epic to get further developed, is actually probably going to be a net positive for Battle Royale. And for people that are worried about the future of Fortnite or the storyline or the game, I honestly think that Battle Royale is going to do a lot better than it has been as a result of this change. Tim Sweeney said something that was very interesting in his post. What we now need to do is clear. Build awesome Fortnite experiences with fresh seasonal content, gameplay, story, and live events. So you're sitting here worried about the Fortnite storyline or Battle Royale, that's not going anywhere. And as a matter of fact, because their attention is going to be less diverted and more focused towards a specific goal, I think that Battle Royale is actually going to be better than it was. The last thing I want to point out that I find very interesting about what Tim Sweeney said is this is what Donald Mustard was trying to highlight to him years ago. Donald was the one that said the magic in Fortnite was the live events, the story that he was trying to craft. And as he said, there were people at Epic at the time that just didn't agree with that. I guess it's fair to say that after a few years, Donald's vision was proven to be true. And listen, it's not that the metaverse couldn't work, but if you don't have the resources to support it, well, it's time to focus on what actually makes you stand out and what people love your game for. These are bad circumstances, guys, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's the end of the world. If you're a fan of the Battle Royale experience and what made the game popular to begin with, I think we're going to be eating good over the next few years, but let's just be patient and see how this execution is going to play out. This is what sucks the most about the Fortnite layoffs. The community was doing so well. We were having a good time. Us, the Epic Games employees, the content creators, there was like this unique synergy that had never existed before in the history of the game. Overnight, that's literally thrown away. The most important thing, the thing that sucks the most, is the fact that people lost their jobs. This news taints the enjoyment of the season a little bit. The season itself is still fun, but you look at the game a little different when the people that were integral to making the game what it was are no longer there. Especially when you're talking about the guy who was spearheading the story. Where was he going to take us? Is his visions like laid out on paper somewhere? It makes you wonder, like, how good is the quality going to be moving forward? Whoever replaces those people, there's a learning curve, and there's a reason why the people that were originally put in place there were there, and now those people are not there, so someone else has to take over the reins. And even especially with storytelling, even if that other person is a good storyteller, they may not have the same tone when it comes to telling their story. And I know I'm harping on the storyline a lot, but the same thing goes for gameplay. Without the people that were there that had come up with these ideas to steer the ship, and it's gonna make you wonder what's gonna happen.